The Titanic submarine story was probably the most viral story of the last few months, if not the last year. It's been extremely viral and it's crazy, and I always thought it was pretty fishy how I couldn't go on any social media platform without seeing just constant stuff about this Titanic submarine, about the, did it implode? Is it at the bottom of the ocean? Are people going to go save it? And apparently Joe Biden and his military and his Navy knew about this from the very beginning, that the submarine imploded, and that all of the rescue efforts and everything like that was just one big facade. And James Cameron even exposes that in a clip that I'll show you in 1 second. James Cameron even knew that the submarine had imploded. And, Joe Biden knew, the military knew, the government knew, everybody knew that the submarine imploded, but for some reason, they didn't tell us. For some reason, they had this whole facade, they had this whole charade, as James Cameron calls it in the clip that I'll show you. They had the whole charade that they were going to go try to rescue the submarine, that they heard banging at the bottom of the ocean and things like that. They're just lying to us, man, trying to keep us sedated, trying to keep us so focused on this Titanic submarine story. I'm telling you, if you go on TikTok, if you go on Twitter during the last few days, that's all that you saw. Why is that? Why were they trying to get us so focused on the Titanic submarine? I'm still thinking about it. I still don't know fully what the distraction was trying to cover up. Let me know in the comments if you know what the distraction was trying to cover up. And also leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos similar to this one. As you can see in this article, Joe Biden accused of covering up fate of Titanic sub in conspiracy theory. Several right-wing commentators have accused Joe Biden of withholding news of the Titanic submersible's demise to distract from recent development with his son, Hunter, after it was revealed the U.S. Navy likely detected the vessel's implosion on Sunday. Rear Admiral John Mauger of the U.S. Coast Guard announced on Thursday that one of the deep sea robots drafted to look for the submersible, which had been traveling to view the Titanic shipwreck in the Atlantic with 5 members aboard, had found a debris field consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber near where communications had been lost. And let me know in the comments if you have seen any pictures of this debris field, because what if this entire thing has been fake? Like, let's be real. We saw that I think it was the stepson of one of the billionaires that was on board of this Titanic submarine. He was going to concerts and doing Instagram lives and stuff. He did not look distraught whatsoever. Like, if one of my family members was on a submarine and we didn't know if it imploded, if it was sitting at the bottom of the ocean, if they had enough resources to go and maybe rescue them, I would not be going to concerts. I'll tell you that right now. I would probably be freaking out in my home. So the entire thing just seems so fishy. This confirmed the worst case scenario. The Titan had imploded under the estimated 400 bar of pressure from the sea around it. So like I said, have you seen any of the pictures of this wreckage? Does that even exist? Did the submarine ever even go down to see the Titanic? Like, I don't even know what's true and what's not at this point. Let's check out what James Cameron had to say, though. I told you he did an interview with the Daily Mail, and here's a 3-minute clip of him talking about how he knew the Titanic submarine imploded on Monday and rescue was a charade. That's James Cameron talking. Let's check out what he has to say here.
I wish I had been more vocal about that, but I think I was unaware that they weren't certified because I wasn't really studying it. I wasn't really interested. Stockton Rush asked me if I wanted to go out there and dive this season. I wasn't interested. There was a lot of concern about this outfit and this sub. A lot of concern, even to the extent that I wasn't involved in it because I was making Avatar 2 at the time, but a lot of them got together and wrote a letter to OceanGate and said, you have to certify. You cannot take people down. It's irresponsible, and it could lead to catastrophe. Monday morning, when I first found out about the incident, we got on a...
It also, if you just research the Titanic submarine stuff, it also just seems so fake. The way that James Cameron's going to talk about in this clip, how it's made out of certain metals that submarines shouldn't be made out of, how it's controlled by a gaming controller. It just all seems so fake. It all seems so outlandish that billionaires, people who are smart enough to make $1 billion, are willing to go and see the Titanic on this submarine that, by the way, has one window in the front of it and also is controlled by a gaming controller and is made out of metal that isn't really certified that submarines should be made out of, as James Cameron reveals in that clip. Let's check out the rest of this.
Whole bunch of calls and emails. It's a small community. Within an hour and a half, I had the following information. They were on descent. They were at 3,500 feet. They lost comms and tracking, the last one being the critical one, because the transponder that's used to track a sub during descent and on the bottom is a fully autonomous system. It's in its own pressure housing, and it has its own battery power. So for them to lose comms and tracking at the same time, sub was gone. There was no question in my mind. For days, I tried to run other scenarios that could account for it. I could come up with nothing. So the next thing I did was contacted a few more people and managed to track down, there are acoustic networks around. Some are research, some are intelligence. We got confirmation within an hour that there had been a loud bang at the same time that that comms were lost. A loud bang on the hydrophones. loss of transducer or transponder, loss of comms. I knew what happened. Sub imploded. I sent emails to everybody I know. I said, we've lost some friends. The sub has imploded. It's on the bottom in pieces right now. I sent that out Monday morning. I never believed in that technology of wound carbon fiber.
And what's crazy is if we all had that information as well, I don't know if that was public or not. Maybe we all just missed it. Maybe people were overlooking it on purpose to continue, the virality of the Titanic sub search and all of that. But if we all had that information from the jump, then I think we all would have also came to the same conclusion. But that's not the information on this Titanic submarine that we were given. We were given information that we were hearing banging noises at the bottom of the ocean and that they could actually possibly go down and retrieve the submarine, and that we hadn't seen any wreckage, so we don't know what happened. Like, we didn't have all the information that James Cameron is talking about here. Let's continue on, though.
Fiber, wound filament, cylindrical hull. I thought it was a horrible idea. I wish I'd spoken up, but I assumed somebody was smarter than me, because I'd never experimented with that technology, but it just sounded bad on its face, because we make pressure hulls out of contiguous material, steel, titanium, ceramic, acrylic. And so you can model it. You can do finite element analysis of it. And, you understand the yield properties. You understand the number of cycles that it can take. But you can't do that with a composite material because it's two dissimilar materials, sort of bonded together. And so we all knew that the danger was delamination and progressive failure over time with microscopic water ingress and fatigue, what they call cycling fatigue. And we knew that if the sub passed its pressure test, it wasn't going to fail on the first dive. It might fail on dive 7, or I don't know what they're at, but it's going to fail over time, which is insidious. You don't get that with steel or with titanium.
And look, I know that James Cameron has gone down to see the Titanic on submarines previously, but I don't think this guy is like some kind of submarine expert. Like, he's a director, he's a movie producer. He's not a submariner. He's just not. So the fact that James Cameron can call out all of this stuff and knew that all of this stuff was going to happen before the person controlling, operating, and creating the submarine did, it just goes into more of the conspiracy theory side of things, man. It just plays more into that. The fact that Joe Biden, James Cameron, everybody, the military, the Navy, all knew that the submarine that was going down to see the Titanic imploded way before the general public knew, and that it was so viral, it was pushed so hard on every single social media platform. It was viral on TikTok. I mean, you literally couldn't go on TikTok without seeing stuff about this submarine. You couldn't go on Twitter without seeing stuff about the submarine. And it wasn't even like, oh, I'm so sad that the submarine imploded. Look at all this evidence that it imploded. It was, can we go find this submarine? Oh, we're hearing banging sounds at the bottom of the ocean. It could be the submarine. It's proof that the people are still there, are in the submarine, and they're still living. They're still breathing. Oh, there's 20 hours of oxygen. Like, it was just trying to keep our minds off of something. Let me know in the comments what you think that something is. And also leave a like on the video if you enjoy videos like this one and want to see more. Hit that subscribe button as well. I hope to see you on the next one.